Armchair.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
Why did you get so drunk?
You got drunk. I'm just really exhausted.
What's in that cup?
Rum and Cokes.
Do you have any idea how important this is? We're trying to save the pump. Really? This is what you're doing?
Chief, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night. Try to take over the world.
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Armchair.
YouTube Live.
Radio station.
The radio station you can call your own. Do you know what listeners like about our station?
I like everything. It's always on my radio.
We never stop the music, except for now, when I talk.
Listening to Braves Country with Mac McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. We're here live weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern, WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key, and simulcasting on YouTube.com/@BravesCountry. Your first choice for Southern sports. Good afternoon. I'm Mac McGee, and I don't know much, but I know one thing. Sunday is Mother's Day. Sunday is Mother's Day. Repeat that to yourself. Do something about it now. Sunday is Mother's Day.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man.
Hey, howdy, hi, and how the hell are you? I am excited for a big series with the Toronto Blue Jays. We are going to get into that right now. Get you ready for game number 1. Braves versus Blue Jays north of the border, as Atlanta will send Spencer Strider to the mound tonight. And we're going to see an old friend on the mound on the other side, Chris Bassett. Remember him? I'm sure he remembers us. We pounded the hell out of him when he was with the Mets, and most remembered for that final series that took place in Atlanta, where Atlanta just absolutely ambushed the entire pitching staff of the New York Mets. He's now with Toronto, signed a long-term deal up there, and we're going to see him tonight with Strider. Should have a good opportunity to start this series off on a bang. The Braves have hit him well, and I would suspect that we're going to get a fairly good offensive output tonight. And then, of course, with Strider on the mound, you expect strikeouts galore, especially with this offense of the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays, they can hit with the best of them, but they do strike out. Now, career versus Chris Bassett, if you're wanting to know that and where we are with that right now, going into tonight's game, looking at the lineup real quick, it looks like this. So you got Acuna, who is 2 for 6 lifetime against Bassett. He's batting .333. Olsen is 1 for 6 against Bassett. So just a 167 clip. And then you have down the line Riley, 3 for 7, 429, a home run, an RBI, a K. Sean Murphy, 2 for 3. Rosario's 3 for 7. Ozzie Albies is 1 for 3. Darnode 3 for 5. He's in the lineup tonight. Tonight he's the designated hitter, so it kind of shows you where they're going with the mindset. And Harris is the center fielder tonight. He's 0 for 3 lifetime with 2 strikeouts. So he didn't fare too well. But how about Arcia? 3 for 3 versus Bassett. So we'll see how that plays out tonight. But what you have with Acuna is he'll be leading off tonight with Olsen, Riley, and Murphy. None of that's changed. Rosario batting 5th against a right-hander. That hasn't changed. Ozzie hitting 6th. That hasn't changed. And then they're sliding Darnold in there at the 7th spot. Recently, it has been Darnold. Sometimes they'll throw Ozuna there. So we'll see how that plays out over the weekend. But Harris is in the 8th spot, and then Arcia in the 9th spot, and that's where they've pretty much been going for the majority of it. And Bassett is 4-2 with a 4.28 ERA. So not a terrible job. He's got a 1.23 WHIP. He's given up 6 home runs. In 40 innings, he's struck out 33. He's walked 20, though. So if they can... I would prefer Strider's walk total to be down a little bit, and he's only walked 14 over 40 innings. Now, what you get with Strider's is you get the strikeout, so you kind of live and die by the sword. And Strider's got 67 strikeouts over 40 innings. You think about that, that's incredible. 67 strikeouts over 40 innings. He's got 14 walks, given up, and just 2 home runs. This is a stadium, if you're not familiar with it, this stadium in Toronto, the ball flies. And I would suspect we're going to get high-scoring games this entire weekend, which can be a lot of fun, but it can be very taxing for your bullpen as well. And we'll leave this particular series, a 3-game series. So we got tonight, we got tomorrow afternoon. It's a 3:07 first pitch, kind of a middle of the day type game. And then 1:37 on Sunday. We're going to carry all 3 games right here on Braves Country HD. But when you get a 3-game series like this, it's a good thing to have had the day off, because there's a good chance that we're going to have to go deep into the bullpen. The bullpen could get taxed, and then we go straight from Toronto over to Texas with no day off. And so that could be a rough go of it. We got 6 games here, and you got to realize when you're watching these games and you're seeing the moves that Snitker's making over the course of each ball game, he's not just thinking about what's going on right in front of us. I know as fans we get caught up in I want to get that W tonight. Let's not worry about tomorrow. I want to get the W tonight. He's worried about the whole 9 yards, the big picture. If he goes aggressive on one game, then that means that he has to kind of let it fly on the other. And I think a lot of times what he does with this, I think he goes in pretty open-minded going into a series like this, but you just kind of see where the starting pitchers are going. And let's assume Strider goes out and has a good game tonight, and the offense is clicking and we're in the game. He'll be aggressive. He'll try to get that first win. But if you have a starter in this series that spits the bit, sometimes these guys have to take one for the team. It's a 162 game schedule, and especially when you got a 7.5 game lead in the division, that plays into it as well. You're not going to mortgage the future for one ball game, especially when you have a healthy lead. He had to be a little more aggressive last summer when we got down 10.5 games. Now we're on the other side of it. Now, look, I'm the first one to tell you, I don't want to see him get complacent. Last thing I want to see is, everything's going fine. Let's just go ahead and cruise on in here and get our dubs, and let's not worry about it because everything is going fine in Braves country, and we're going to go out there and we're going to do this or we're going to do that, and we're going to mash, and I'm not worried about anything. No, I don't want to see any of that. I want to see an aggressive mindset. But you do realize that if you have a game in this series that doesn't go the way you expect it to from the outset, there could be a game in this series or in the next series, because you got 6 games on the road in 2 offensive, not just 2 stadiums that put out a lot of offense, but you got 2 lineups that put out a lot of offense in Texas and in Toronto, the first of 3 tonight. Tomorrow, as we take a look at the entire series real quick, tomorrow it's going to be Bryce Elder versus Berrios. And Berrios has been up and down. What's been interesting about Berrios is that he tends to struggle at home. So hopefully that continues and Atlanta can put some runs up on Berrios tomorrow. Elder versus Berrios, that's the 3:07 to start. And then Sunday, the Braves have yet to announce a starter. And I think you could decipher what's going on, and the only reason why I say that is you got to make it through customs. So it's not like just bringing some guy up from Gwinnett, tell him to meet you over in St. Louis real quick. He's got to get through customs, so it's got to be thought out. So I haven't seen any reports, but it'll be interesting to see where they go with that. If they do go with another bullpen game, and it is a possibility, they'll be going up against Kikuchi, who's actually pitched pretty well. He's 5-0, the 3.35 ERA. I've never been thoroughly impressed with this stuff. I've always thought that he was a very hittable pitcher. But, hey, he's off to a good start, so you can't knock that. If we do go with the bullpen game there, then maybe we see Dylan Dodd on Tuesday. Because as it stands right now, it's supposed to be Strider today, Elder tomorrow, and then on Monday is when we will see Charlie Morton. And Dylan Dodd would be available to come back off the being sent down on the 10 days. He would be available on Tuesday. So that could be where they go, is bullpen on Sunday. And on Tuesday, you get that. As far as the Soroka thing goes, he spit the bit again last night. He was, when I say bad, I don't even know if that even really describes it. And by the way, in that Texas series, we're going to have to face Nathan Eovaldi. And Eovaldi was cooking again last night. He's been really good past couple of past several outings. He's got a 28-inning scoreless streak going on right now. So hopefully we can crack into that. And if you're not familiar with Eovaldi, he was a mainstay on the Boston Red Sox. Before that, he pitched with the Tampa Bay Rays and whatnot, but he's a grinder. He's a gritty pitcher. And even with not being on a 28-inning scoreless streak, he's a tough customer to begin with. So by no stretch of the imagination is that Texas series going to be an easy one. By the way, tonight, if you're able to catch any of it, Smith-Shawver, AJ Smith-Shawver, he is going to the mound tonight for AA Mississippi. He is regarded as the Braves' top prospect by Baseball America. He's a 20-year-old kid, 6'3", 206 from Fort Worth. We drafted him in the 2021 draft in the 7th round, and I'll be interested to see how he pans out tonight. Obviously, I'll be doing the game during his appearance, but I do have the MILB package, and I'm planning on watching that this evening after our game because I'm really curious to see how this kid pans out tonight. So he's gonna get out there and get the ball. And look, stranger things have happened. I don't expect him to make it all the way to the major leagues this year, but if you keep getting what we've been getting from Soroka, I mean, you just listen to this. On Thursday, he exited after 73 pitches. Now, his previous starts, he has pitched He had one where he went 91, but he's pretty much been under 70 pitches, between 60 and 70 pitches. Okay. And he's not been impressive, Mike Soroka. He, in fact, I mean, if he didn't have the name that he had prior to all this, he wouldn't be on anybody's radar. So he went up against Nashville last night for AAA Gwinnett. And they said that here's how his first inning went. A walk, a single, a strikeout. All right. A 3-run home run by Keston Hiura. And if you're not familiar with who Hiura is, he played for the Milwaukee Brewers, middle infielder. He's a decent hitter over the years, but he's not a guy that you fear. And then he gave up a double, a walk, and a pop-out. 32 pitches, 19 strikes in that inning, and the 3-run home run. Now, the rest of the outing, he pitched pretty well, 3 innings. And he finished with 4 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks, and the home run. He's got a 5.47 ERA in 6 starts. A 5.47 ERA in 6 starts. I mean, I don't know how you come back from that. A 5.47 ERA from 6 starts, and people keep wanting to know, when is Soroka going to do big time Soroka type things? And I just don't think it's possible to expect him to all of a sudden start making really big time outings up in the major leagues when he has been awful in the minors. I mean, awful in the minors. So I just don't really see how in the world any of this is even realistic going forward, because at this point, what you're looking at for Soroka is I'm looking at a guy that, I've talked about this before. I think it's more realistic that he starts in the bullpen. And he goes from that bullpen and he ends up, we'll say, two innings, maybe 3. And then you figure out from there what he could do. But at this point, there's just no way I can't sit here and look at Mike Soroka and call him a starter on a team who's legitimately trying to not just make the playoffs, but make a run at the World Series and say, okay, well, 5.47 ERA after a big sample size, that's going to get it done. That's going to get it done in the major leagues. It's unrealistic right now. And each time that I've kept up with him, I've seen a couple of his outings. He hasn't really looked all that impressive. Honestly, I'd rather take the chance with Dodd. I'd rather see Soroka develop himself more and get back to wherever he was, because none of us are the coaches down there. None of us are the hitting instructors, pitching instructors, the managers down there. And we don't know what's holding him back. Why is he struggling, right? I say just forget about Soroka. The pipe dreams. Put this Soroka pipe dream in the same area that you put that pipe dream about trading Marcell Ozuna away for some kind of key piece that's going to get us over the hump. Neither one is happening. Get your head out of your ass and let's go. Let's look at the fact that we've got a pretty darn good team. We've got some good young kids that can come in and step in and do some things. Look, I still think Dylan Dodd has got the ability to be a hell of a contributor. I haven't even necessarily given up on Schuster, but I'd have to see another run from him again. He had the one good outing, and then So I know that he looks really, really impressive in spring training. But once again, you can't really go off the spring training numbers because they're just not accurate. The spring training numbers are just absolutely terrible. You look at a guy who's doing well in spring training, and you don't know if the hitters have decided, well, I'm going to just try to swing at the first pitch today, or today I'm going to work on taking the first 2 strikes. So there's all kinds of things that go on from the hitter side along from the pitcher side. You can't go off the spring training. So when we look at what could be available going forward, I'm looking at Dodd, possibly Schuster. There's a couple other kids down there, but I'm not going to get overly excited about. And if we can spell the other 2 slots that obviously are missing right now with Dodd and with maybe a Schuster, maybe it's a bullpen game here and there. When we get the break in the schedule, we're going to run 4 men, but that's not going to happen for very often in the near future because they got that long stretch where it's 13 games in a row coming up. But just find a way to get through, and then hopefully in the very near future, we start seeing some positive news on Kyle Wright coming back and Max Fried coming back. I got a funny feeling that it's going to be Fried before Wright, even though Wright went down first, because Wright, this is the second time getting injured this spring. I just think they're going to treat him with kid gloves. And then at some point, you're going to see an opportunity by Anthopoulos to maybe make it's going to be a minor move, though. We're not bringing in Justin Verlander. Okay, we're not going to bring in some Cy Young Award winner, because they're still going to feel like that when we hit the playoffs, it's going to be Fried, it's going to be Strider, and they hope Kyle Wright, but if not, Charlie Morton and maybe some Elder that's going to get us there. If they make a move between now and the trading deadline, before we hit the actual trading deadline, I think what you're going to be looking at, to be honest with you, is you're going to be looking at a guy that we're going to get in a trade, and you're not going to be that thrilled. You go, all right, we'll see what he can do, and you hope to get a handful of starts that doesn't just murder your bullpen. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Bobby's on the way. We're going to talk some NBA, some NFL schedule release talk, and much more baseball. We'll be back in a flash.
Well, don't mind me. I'm just here to install this smoke detector.
Smoke detector? Does that detect any kind of smoke?
Long live the king.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rod Peterson here, host of The Rod Peterson Show, inviting you to join us daily for 2 hours of Atlanta's funnest sports talk right here on WQEE. I say fun because it is. You've never heard a show like it because we make the listeners a part of the show every day between noon and 2 p.m. Eastern. You'll hear plenty of the best sports talk, including the latest on the Falcons, the Braves, and more. And who knows, you might even hear you. That's The Rod Peterson Show, daily at noon, right here on WQEE 99.1 FM.
ACC football covered like no other here on the Armchair Quarterback.
Against the blitz, touchdown Florida State. Preston scores the touchdown, and now it's Bowden's decision, and he sends Mowry onto the field right away. Danny Cannell is the holder. Mowry ties it. This game is over. A 31-31 tie. A 31-31 tie.
A deep throw by Lawrence. A lot of contact. Justin Ross broke free from it. He's down in the end zone. Touchdown, Clemson. Justin Ross, a freshman wide receiver, big, rangy, and Trevor Lawrence knows. Throw it up against that single coverage. Give him a chance to make a play on a 50-50 ball.
If you're a fan of the ACC, pull up an armchair. You're home.
It's the best in sports and entertainment, and get locked in and locked down with Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with your host, me, Ryan O'Neal, each and every morning, right here with the best in sports and entertainment, all the way from professional sports to college sports to River Dragons hockey and everything in between, including some of the very best local and national guests. It's the Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Fridays, right here on 99.1 FM WQEE.
Welcome back to Braves Country. Weekdays, 3 to 5 p.m. Drive time on WQEE. Welcome back. Joining us today, like every Friday, is Mr. Bobby. Bobby, how about them Suns, man?
Man, not what I expected to see out of them. I thought they were 8-0 with KD in the regular season, and then they get bounced in the second round. It's not what I expected.
Never, ever, ever doubt the Joker, baby. The Joker's there.
Hey, man, look, we were doubting him. You can't deny that either. We were doubting him hard.
Yeah, he still looks incredibly slow to me every time I see him. But I got to where I'm starting pulling for him because of the stuff that was said by Kendrick Perkins. That's, so you can't help but not pull for him at that point because you're like, what a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's fair.
I started watching that series quite a bit, and I had not watched. I would be lying to you if I said I'd watched a bunch of Denver Nuggets basketball during the regular season. Hell, they normally come on at 10:30 at night. But I watched that series. Of the 6 games, I watched 5 of them pretty intently. And I am very impressed by that entire squad. And I'm telling you right now, I would be shocked if they don't win the NBA title. Because they're going to get there. Whoever they play between, this is just turning into a geriatric ward over here with the Lakers and Golden State. Hopefully that ends tonight.
Yeah.
I want to see the Lakers go on. I want to see Golden State. There's something about watching Draymond Green have to eat a bunch of words is kind of nice. And I'm not a LeBron guy, but I'm pulling for them to get there. And then I really believe that Denver's going to dust them. It might go 6, but I think it's 5.
I've underestimated the Lakers all playoffs. I did not think they were going to get past the Grizzlies. They did that in 6. I thought they'd have a tougher time with the Warriors, but they were up 3-1. Now they're headed to a game 6. I don't think they'll get past tonight,
right?
What?
They better win tonight because if they let that thing go back to San Fran, I don't like their chances.
Well, that Corgi's going to be right if they win tonight. If the Warriors do.
Who?
The Corgi. Have you seen that video?
No.
Oh, there's this video of this dog that'll bite a basketball toy and it'll shoot into one of the hoops. And it basically had predicted how the series would play out. And he's been 5 for 5 so far.
Okay, so it's like a TikTok video or something?
Oh, yeah. And it's been viral. Everybody's been talking about it. So if the Warriors come back and win that series, that Corgi is going to be the most hated dog in Los Angeles.
Oh, if you put that much stock into what a dog bites, there's a lot of things that should have won a lot of championships, got nothing to do with sports, that I can tell you about that my dog tears up. The other series tonight, Miami, the Knicks in Miami, I would be utterly shocked if the Heat do not dust them. And
I'm with you there.
Pound them.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you.
Beat them by 20.
Mm-hmm. Heat are a great team. They're not the usual 8 seed. They are a great team. I think they handle the Knicks tonight.
Right? I could see a Miami versus Denver final.
It wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me at all, especially with the trouble that the Sixers are giving the Celtics right now. That Celtics team's beatable. So, and if the Sixers team goes on, I think if it's Sixers Heat, I think the Heat march to the finals pretty easily. If it's Celtics Heat, I think the Heat have a little bit more trouble, but that's the series they could still win.
I contend that Boston is soft because of Mazzulla. I believe Mazzulla's got a lot to do with it. He does not have the same grit that this team had just a year ago. Mm-hmm. And the only thing that has really changed is the coaching staff. Or, excuse me, the head coach. So I don't know if he's not a leader. You know, I'm not in these locker rooms. I don't know what's going on. But I just know that I don't see the defensive intensity that was the thing about Boston the last couple of years. It was damn near impossible to go on a long run on them because their defense would just shut you down. Mm-hmm. Now, with that being said, they won a game on the road in Philly, and Jason Tatum stunk. He absolutely just smelled the joint up. He hit his last 3 shots and finished 5 of 21 for shooting. Mm. That tells you how damn bad he was at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So everything that I just said about Mazzulla, and he sucks, and I think he's soft, and I wouldn't be against firing him. That's how unimpressed I am by him. Mm. They're gonna win Sunday.
I'm with you there. I think they will too.
Jason Tatum is not going to go 5 for 21 shooting.
No.
They are going to come out on fire, and I would be shocked if that's even a competitive game in the fourth. That's
I agree with you on that.
So what I'm interested in seeing, have they? I checked it last night, but I did not check it this morning, and I'm curious. Have they announced what time that game's going to be? Because it still said TBD. I didn't know if they were waiting to see how it shakes out tonight.
Yeah, I think I saw it just a few minutes ago when I was going through looking at the games. I think it's still to be dated. It's
still being waiting. It's a wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of crazy that the game's 2 days away. People are trying to make plans to either go to Boston or they live in Boston and they're mm-hmm. going to the game, and they have no idea what time the game starts.
Yeah,
it's kind of goofy. I've got a bad feeling it's going to be like a 3:30 game.
That would suck. That would really suck. I'd hope that's a night game because I'm excited for that one.
But if you end up with Lakers and Warriors, they're going to give that.
Yeah, no question.
That already says it says TBD and it says ABC.
Mm.
So maybe that's the mid-afternoon game, and maybe they make the Celtics 76ers the night game. I don't know. It's an interesting one because I don't know if you care so much about which one goes first or which one goes second when you're mm-hmm. talking about the on a Sunday game, right? If that was like a Monday or Tuesday night, you would definitely make sure that the Lakers and Warriors were the late tip. Mm-hmm. But on a Sunday game, it may not matter.
Yeah, I mean Sunday's still a big day. It's Mother's Day, so it does make it a little bit more complicated.
I said that's the other pain in the ass about it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it's Mother's Day, so you have to go around all that, and that's why I said I really, really hope it doesn't end up being a 3:30 tip, and then they do the second game at like 7 or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anyways, moving on from that. You got the National Football League, the schedule result out. I told you to pick 3 games you're excited about for the Arizona Cardinals. I did the same for, what are we doing this time? We're going to do the Atlanta Falcons coming up in a bit, but the first one, I took the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then we're both going to kind of combine forces to pick the 3 games for Tennessee. So let's go ahead and get into the Arizona one. What you got?
Awesome. So the first one I have on my list is not because I'm terribly excited for this game. It's because this game will have major implications on the draft. It's Week 11 at Houston, playing the Texans. We have both of those picks, so that game is huge for the Cardinals. Personally, for me, I'm going to be rooting for whoever has the most wins because I want top pick, whether that be because we draft Caleb Williams or because we send that pick off for a haul. Whatever that be, that game will have major implications on the draft. So that one's really important to me.
Okay.
And then the second one, I have Week 8 versus the Ravens. That's around the time that Kyler Murray is expected to be coming back if he does this season. So that could shape up to be a good quarterback matchup between him and Lamar Jackson. Two very exciting quarterbacks, two quarterbacks that can get it done through the air and on the ground. So I'm looking forward to that one. And it's a home game for the Cardinals, so maybe there's an added boost there. We need as much help as we can get. So, yeah, that one I'm looking forward to. And then the third one I have down is Week 10 versus the Falcons. I have this one down because this is one of the only teams on our schedule that we're at a similar level with in regards to how good we are. So this could be one of the only competitive games this year. So any game like this that we can get, I'll be looking forward to.
I'm looking at y'all's schedule, and so if I'm an Arizona fan, the first game that I'm most excited about is Week 3 at the Rams.
Mm.
And the reason why is that's a team that seems like to be on the regression.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a litmus test of where you're at.
Mm. That's true.
And it's not saying that in Week 1 and Week 2 against the 49ers and the Bengals that you can't, any given Sunday, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
But in Week 3, first of all, by Week 3, you kind of have your feet underneath you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're saying Murray's not expected back till Week 8? Is that what you're saying?
They've said close to midseason, so okay. I'd expect Week 8, maybe a little bit earlier. But I know they're not going to rush this with the state of how our team is.
If it's Week 6 or Week 7, that's the Browns or the Falcons, or I guess weeks. So you were talking about the Ravens. The Ravens are what, week 1, 2,
8.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, never mind. I didn't miscount it. I don't know what I was looking at. I guess I didn't have it scrolled all the way down because the Niners and Bengals are week 4 and 5. So I misspoke there. Oh, well then heck, the first week of the season playing the Commanders, I mean, that's you're kind of on the same level.
Yeah. And it's a week 1 game, like you mentioned.
You don't have your quarterback.
Yeah, that's the only problem is I'm more excited for games, obviously, where we have our quarterback healthy, and I'm looking forward to that. Say what you want about Kyler, but this team isn't anywhere near as exciting to watch without him out there. I'm more looking forward to the last half of the season when he's back. But that is a team that, we could beat. We could beat the Commanders. They're not very good. And with Week 1, like you mentioned, any team can get caught in Week 1. The Bears, who ended up getting the number 1 pick last year, they got the 49ers in Week 1. They caught them on a bad day, so it can happen.
All right, now, I took a look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they start off with the Colts, and that's great that that's a division game, but if they're hitting on all cylinders, they should beat that team. I'm sorry, but the Colts are not going to be any good.
No.
I don't know if AR-15 will be under center at that point.
It's hard to say.
I would say probably not. But either way, if the Jaguars are going to be taking serious contenders, you win Week 1. You just do.
Yeah.
So the first game I have circled is Week 2 of the season. They are at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm a little surprised this isn't at a better time slot. It's 1 o'clock Sunday game. A little surprised this isn't at least a late Sunday kickoff, like 4:25, right? But Chiefs, Jaguars in Jacksonville, that's a fun one. So that's the first one that I have circled for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The next one is, what week is that? December 4th against the Cincinnati Bengals. and that is a Monday night football game. That should be a lot of fun. I would be shocked if there's not a lot of hype for that game, considering how deep we'll be into the season. I think that is... I don't have the week numbers in front of it because that's not the way it's laid out. What I'm looking at here is I think that's week 13. Yeah, week 13. Both teams, assuming health, you're going to have Trevor Lawrence versus Joe Burrow on a Monday night in Jacksonville. This town will be rocking. The other one that I have circled goes all the way back up to the board on the 8th of October, which, what is that, week 5? Yeah, week 5. Oh, across the pond, I think that's the one that's being played in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Jaguars versus the Buffalo Bills. And I told Joey yesterday, I said, go ahead and mark it down. Go ahead and put your money down for it. The Jacksonville Jaguars will win that game. It is the second game in a row that they will be playing in England. They played the week before, and then they're going to stay over there and then take on the Bills. They played the week. I think the week before is against Atlanta. Yeah, it's against the Falcons. So I think you get a decided advantage, and we'll see. But I think you're going to get an advantage when you get to stay over there an extra week and get used to the times, the time zone and everything that goes into playing a game at 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
It would be even more of an advantage if they were playing a team from the West Coast, but there you have that. Pulled up some of these other games to take a look at. The Thanksgiving matchups. Little disappointed. I thought they could have done a better job on the Thanksgiving matchups. I like the fact that you do have the traditional Green Bay versus Detroit, Washington versus Dallas. Those are cool. Seattle, San Francisco, though?
Considering they're not teams that usually play on Thanksgiving, you'd hope for a better matchup to round out the Thanksgiving games.
Well, just give me a national matchup. Give me one that's not, both teams from the NFC West?
Yeah.
What the hell are we doing?
And on top of that, the two games prior to that are probably not going to be terribly close. So you'd hope for a better game to end it out.
I gotta see the Lions do it 2 years in a row.
That's fair. I can't blame you for that.
And I don't. Have we already poured dirt on the Green Bay Packers for 2023? Or are we giving Jordan Love no chance?
I'll give him a shot, but I'm not terribly confident. I'm not terribly confident in him.
Okay, that sounds like you're pouring dirt on him.
I'll go ahead and do it then. If I'm wrong, I'll eat my words, but I'm not terribly confident in that team.
I have not been impressed by him. I will say that. And I would be flat out lying if I said that I had ever been impressed by him.
Yeah.
But at the same token, has he ever been the man? Has he ever gone into the season, offense directed around him every single week? He's getting first team reps. Not really. Normally when he steps in, it's in an emergency situation. So I've got to see what Jordan Love is. I've told myself I'm going to wait until at least week 8-ish before I just pour dirt on him and say, get him out of here.
You got more patience than I do. I'll give you that. And I think maybe the Packers have the right vision because they've done it before where they had Rodgers sitting behind Favre for a while. Maybe it works, and maybe I'm wrong. But what we have seen from Jordan Love hasn't given me a lot to be confident in.
No, I remember the game that he played. Was it 2 years ago that he goes to Kansas City, and we're hoping to see a shootout, and it was the absolute dud.
Yeah.
See, then you get the Christmas games announced. Most of these were trickling in, so we had an idea. So we get Vegas and KC. The mid-afternoon game, yeah, it's a division battle between Giants and Eagles, but I'm still a little concerned that they put the Giants on a lot of primetime games, and I don't know how good they're really going to be. I think they did it because it's New York. I don't think they do that. I don't think the Giants get as many primetime and standalone games as they get if they were sitting in Nashville, Tennessee, if they were in Jacksonville, Florida, if they were in Atlanta, Georgia, if they were in Tampa Bay. I think they are getting their, hey, we got to put the Giants on because it's New York City and they finally made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get the late night game on late night, 8:15. I mean, I don't know about you, but man, by 8:15 on Christmas, I'm damn near asleep. Mm-hmm. Ravens versus 49ers. It could be a fun one. I don't know if I care that. I don't know if it gets me excited as a fan. Now, if it's a couple of teams, two teams with really good records, okay, then let's go. But I've got to see that to believe it because Baltimore has consistently disappointed over the last several years.
Yeah, and they're a team that late in the season they tend to fizzle out more often than not. So that game will come down to how good they're doing at that time.
Their $260 million man's never available.
Yeah, by about that time of the year.
Yeah, he's usually like, I got an ankle issue. I got to,
We'll see if that disappears, though, now that he's got the extension. Maybe that won't happen anymore.
Do you really think that matters? I don't.
I don't know.
I think it's even more of a reason for him not to play because he's like, well, I got to get my next extension. So here are the Thursday night games. Which ones jump out at you?
Let's see. Broncos Chiefs could be interesting if the Broncos are any good under Sean Payton. Bengals Ravens could be interesting. Good AFC North matchup right there. A lot of these seem to be pretty lopsided or just two bad teams. But, yeah, I'd say Broncos Chiefs I'm looking forward to, and then Bengals Ravens.
Minnesota Philly. I want to see Minnesota compete better than they did the first time that we saw it last year. I think that was a Monday night game. I think that kicked off Monday Night Football. Because of the factor that it could be two quarterbacks, could be a bit of I don't know if a shootout is the right word. It might be more of a fun, entertaining game. Week 7, Jacksonville versus Derek Carr and the Saints. I'm kind of intrigued by that. I'm going to be intrigued on what Denver can bring to the party. I'm just not convinced that they're all of a sudden Russell Wilson is going to be Russell Wilson from 2017, and he's just going to be flinging it all over the place. I'm not convinced of that. The other one would be, Detroit Green Bay does intrigue me a little bit because if Jordan Love is worth the crap, if he's skipping the ball all over the place, then Detroit's just going to go there and mash them.
Yeah.
From the rivalry aspect of it, New England-Pittsburgh's a little intriguing, but that could be a dud by week 14.
Definitely. I don't think the Patriots will be in playoff contention by that point, or maybe they won't be eliminated maybe, but it certainly won't look good. I could see the Steelers being solid, but still not two teams that I'm really amped to see.
They really do get the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
So, going forward from that, what's the worst game on that slate to you?
Worst game on that slate. Let's see. Quality of two teams. I'm going to say Bears-Washington, Bears-Commanders. That game sucks. Saints-Rams sucks. Especially because I don't think the Rams are going to bounce back. I don't think they're going to have some miracle return to being a contender. And I'm not confident in Derek Carr at all either. So I think that game's going to suck. So those two games, the ones I'm least looking forward to.
I think the worst game to me on any of them, what are the Panthers and Bears doing on Thursday night, man? What the hell is that?
There's always a ton of just terrible Thursday night games.
Oh, my God. We're going to have to hear Al Michaels just complain left and right. That's pretty much all he does, right?
I guess the only thing you could say that's exciting about that is, you get to see Bryce Young versus Fields, but and DJ Moore, I guess, playing his old team, but still two bad teams.
Well, I mean, but where are we at that point?
Yeah.
Right? Like, with those two quarterbacks, Fields ought to be a little further along, but where the hell are we at with the rest of it?
Mm-hmm.
That's my only thing. All right, Monday Night Football. Now, let's see if I'm hoping that we can see this okay. This one got kind of crammed together, so I might have to do it little by little. Let's just do it this way. Here's the first, we'll say first 4 games. We'll cram in there. Give me your best matchup in the first 4.
In the first 4, my best matchup, I'll go with Bills-Jets. We get to see what Rodgers looks like week 1 with the Jets. And he'll be going up against a tough team, good secondary as well, good defense, one of the top teams in the AFC, at least during the regular season. So that'll be a good test for Rodgers.
I still say they dropped the ball, though. That's 9-11. That should have been Jets-Giants. Hey, what the hell are they doing? This is interesting to me right here, though. Week 2 and week 3, we get double headers. Back to back. 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock kickoff, or 7:15 and 8:15 kickoffs. So they're stacked. They used to never would have done that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're stacking them. That's interesting. I wonder how many of those we'll get going forward. The next batch, what's your favorite one? I think mine's San Fran versus Minnesota.
I was thinking the same thing, but if I had to choose a different one, I'd probably go Dallas and the LA Chargers. I think that's an interesting matchup.
One. Then real quick, hit the 8 through 12.
I think this one's pretty easy to call.
Yeah, it's got to be Eagles-Chiefs.
No question.
And
Super
you're not
Bowl rematch,
convincing me.
2 of the top teams in the league. I mean,
no way in hell you're convincing me that Denver is going to be relevant in Week 10.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Broncos, Bills, the rivalry's back. No, it's not. No, it's not. And then the last little bit, let's see here, get down to the bottom of the barrel. Which ones you got?
I'll go with Ravens 49ers on that one. I think the other matchups are either too lopsided or just not teams I'm interested in seeing.
We kind of ran out of time. Give me one game that you think the Titans, your best Titan matchup.
I'm going to go with deciding between 2 here, but I'll go with Week 18 versus the Jaguars. And I say that because if the Titans are any competitive next year and they have any shot at the playoffs, this game's going to be huge in potentially winning the AFC South. We saw it play out like that last year. And, maybe a wild card spot if they don't win that game. But regardless, I think if they have any playoff hopes, this game's going to be crucial down the stretch.
The Cincinnati game and the Baltimore game are interesting, but on that same note, I'm going to give you Week 11 at Jacksonville because they're going to go to Jacksonville. They're going to find out what they got because they kind of got their butts handed to them both times last year to Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. So if they're going to have any, because I don't think they can win a wild card. The only shot they've got is to win the division. I don't think they're going to win the division, but if they're going to have a chance, that game in Jacksonville, Week 11, that's going to be enormous for the Titans.
Absolutely.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Tones will join us, and we're going to talk about cool games for the entire NFL season. We're each picking a few ones that we are excited about. We will be back in a flash here on Braves Country HD, YouTube, and 99.1 FM The Key. You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM The Key in Noonan, Georgia.
Armchair.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good afternoon, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Major League Baseball for Friday, we got a full slate, and it all begins with Braves Blue Jays, 7:07 first pitch. Spencer Strider night in Toronto. We'll face an old nemesis, Chris Bassett. He's 4-2 with a 4.28 ERA. Phillies are at the Rockies at 8:40. Taijuan Walker and Austin Gomber. Walker 5.97 ERA. Gomber with the 6.75. And the Mets are at the Nationals. Tyler McGill versus Mackenzie Gore. Gore with the 3.65 ERA. He's 3-2 on the year. McGill 3-2 as well with a 4.33 ERA. Reds and Marlins 6:40. Ashcraft versus Perez. Mariners and Tigers 6:40 as well. Gonzalez up against Boyd. And the Pirates and Orioles, two teams who have exceeded expectations, 21-17 for Pittsburgh, 24-13 for Baltimore. It'll be Oviedo versus Bradish. Rays and Yankees at it again, 7:05 Eastern. Fleming versus Garrett Cole. Angels are at the Guardians. Anderson and Allen. Wainwright and the Cardinals head to Boston to take on the Red Sox and John Paxton. Drew Smyly and the Chicago Cubs are in Minnesota to battle the Twins in Sonny Gray. Astros and White Sox, France versus Kepik. Royals and Brewers, 8:10 Eastern. Corbin Burns on the hill for the Brew Crew. Giants and Diamondbacks at 9:40. Ross Stripling versus Nelson. And the Rangers and A's, they're at 9:40 as well. Martin Perez versus Waldachuk. While the Padres are at the Dodgers on MLB Network. Blake Snell versus Dustin May. New York Knicks are at the Miami Heat. Game number 6. The Heat are a 5.5-point favorite. 208.5 is the over-under. While the Warriors and Lakers, game number 6. LA trying to knock out the champs. The Lakers are a 2-point favorite. Over-under 221. And a doubleheader on TNT. Panthers at Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs trying to rally at home. Down 3-1. They took game 4. Can they do it again? Toronto minus 178 on the money line. 6.5 is the over-under. The Oilers and Golden Knights, Edmonton, minus 130 on the road. Over-under is 7. The National Football League released their schedule yesterday. Here's a couple of highlights looking at the upcoming 2023 season. Christmas Day, a triple header. Raiders, Chiefs, Eagles, Giants, and the Ravens versus the 49ers on the nightcap. Thanksgiving, we'll have the Packers, Lions, and Cowboys and Commanders, with the 49ers and Seahawks ending the evening. Your Monday Night Football schedule, some of your better games, Week 1, Buffalo versus the Jets, Packers and Raiders in Week 5, Cowboys and Chargers, Week 6, while the 49ers travel to Minnesota in Week 7. Chargers are at the Jets in Week 9, Bengals and Jaguars Week 13. And Week 16, the Baltimore Ravens are in San Fran. While your Thursday Night Football slate looks like this. Week 2, Vikings at the Eagles, Jags at the Saints in Week 7, Titans in Pittsburgh in Week 9. The Bengals will travel to Baltimore for Week 11, Chargers and Ravens Week 15, while Aaron Rodgers versus Deshaun Watson in Week 17. And the Sunday Night Football clashes are highlighted by Week 1, Cowboys are at the New York Giants. Week 4, Kansas City versus Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. Cowboys and Niners renew their rivalry in Week 5, while the Bills and Bengals clash in Week 9. Aaron Rodgers versus Jimmy G in Week 10. Week 14, Philly at the Dallas Cowboys. Week 15, Baltimore's in Jacksonville. And the final one scheduled for 17 is Green Bay in Minnesota. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for Braves Country right here on WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key in Newnan, Georgia, simulcasting on YouTube.com at Braves Country.
It's the best in sports and entertainment, and get locked in and locked down with Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with your host, me, Ryan O'Neal, each and every morning, right here with the best in sports and entertainment, all the way from professional sports to college sports to River Dragons hockey and everything in between, including some of the very best local and national guests. It's the Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Fridays, right here on 99.1 FM WQEE.
If you don't like your job, you don't strike. You just go in every day and do it really half-assed. That's the American way.
Hey, sports fans. Weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern. Drive Time on WQEE. Braves Country is a Southern sports talk show with Mac McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. That's Braves Country with Mac McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. Weekdays, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. right here on WQEE 99.1 FM.
Change approved.
It's important to remember the value of taking time for ourselves to do the things that help us grow and explore, like learning something new. And now with the Great Courses Plus, it's never been easier to experience the joys of learning. The Great Courses Plus offers thousands of streaming videos that cover hundreds of fascinating topics, from World War II to choosing the perfect wine. You can even take a course on the U.S. government or dealing with stress and anxiety. And because the Great Courses Plus partners with world-class professors and experts, you're always receiving thoroughly vetted, high-quality content from every lecture. Plus, you can watch or listen anytime, anywhere with the Great Courses Plus app. So take a little time for you. Sign up for the Great Courses Plus today. Visit thegreatcoursesplus.com to get started. That's thegreatcoursesplus.com.
Hockey season, and that means new merch over at ourdragonsmerch.com. Get the latest designs and some of our fun new souvenirs ahead of what's sure to be a great hockey season. Celebrate another season of River Dragons hockey by getting a new look to wear on game days, or surprise the big-time sports fan in your life with a new keepsake that will make them a River Dragons fan for life. Order online right now at ourdragonsmerch.com. That's the letter R, dragonsmerch.com. We'll see you at the rink.
Welcome back to Braves Country. Mac McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks, weekdays, 3 to 5 p.m., drive time on WQEE.
The wives are all disgusted, and they're meeting in the yard on their way to where the numbers off our credit cards. He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer.
Welcome back, Braves Country. And joining us is Tampa Tones. Tampa Tones, how the hell are you?
I'm good. I'm a little better than the Rays, who have some unfortunate breaking news as Drew Rasmussen has just been placed on the 60-day injured list with a flexor strain in his elbow. So that's a big blow to the Rays.
He just pitched last night, didn't he?
And he did really good. 7 shutout innings against the Yankees, and he's looked pretty dang good this year. And now that's Jeffrey Springs, Tyler Glasnow, and Drew Rasmussen all on the injured list for the Rays.
Glasnow is set to return in a rehab start Tuesday. So I guess there is some positive news there for the Tampa Bay Rays. Yeah, that's a tough one. He's been really good. Really good.
And as you said, he looked really good last night, so it doesn't make much sense how you can look that dominant at one night, and then at the next day you have a 60-day injured list injury.
Well, it sounds like to me, would you say he went 7 innings?
Yes, sir. His exact stat line was 7 innings, 2 hits, no walks, no runs, 7 strikeouts.
Sounds like to me he should have went 6 innings.
Yeah. Maybe 5. Maybe 4. The reverse LeBron, maybe 5, maybe 4, maybe 3.
Maybe none.
Yeah, and my heart goes. Rasmussen's one of my favorite Rays, so that hurts a little bit, man. They're banged up. Pete Fairbanks, Rasmussen, Glasnow delayed. What the heck's going on down there?
It's called baseball, baby.
Yeah, well, it's called battered ball right now because they're all getting battered, man.
Well, you got to look at it. I mean,
they're deep enough pitching to overcome, though. You know, one thing with the Rays, they always.
I can't think of a team that's not beat up. And if they're not beat up, then they're probably not that good.
You ain't lying. But let's be honest, the Braves and the Rays, it seems like, get it worse than the brunt of the core do.
I mean, Atlanta's got, what, two of their big aces on the IL.
That's what I'm saying, the Rays and Braves.
There was a report today by John Heyman that says that Max Scherzer is saying that he's going to have to just manage this issue that he has with his neck the entire season. I mean, that sounds like to me they're going to shut him down before it's all said and done.
And I mean, that's kind of the Mets' own fault, right? When you just add guys because of their name and don't look at their age at a certain point. I'm not blaming the Mets, and I, kind of feel bad. But at the end of the day, when you get guys like Scherzer and Verlander who are that up there in age and have that many miles on their arms, you're asking for a couple of troubles down the road.
Yeah, I guess. I hate to see that ends up being why a team stinks is because someone can't go. I mean, this thing with Fried and Wright, they're both going to be out 2 months. And I know it'll be honest before you know it. Yeah. Every team's got to go through this. I feel like every year there's always a chunk of the season when you're like, how in the hell am I going to get out of this? Right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's one of the reasons why the trade deadline sits where it sits, because when you're just about ready to give up, here comes the trade deadline. The problem is right now you can't make trades. I hear a lot of fans that want to make, I want to do these trades and I want to do this and I want to do that. And I'm like, nobody wants to trade with you in the middle of May because they feel like that they have a chance. The only teams that are making trades, I saw the Oakland Athletics made another trade today. Because the Oakland Athletics gave up on the season about 6 months ago. And I don't think I want to make a trade with anything that the Oakland Athletics have on their roster.
Yeah, there's a difference in some teams, right? You look at teams like potentially the Reds or potentially the White Sox. They have some meat off the bone to scrape. When you look at the A's, it's like, all right, we're dining on a budget tonight.
So let's go ahead and get into the cool games. I'm interested to see where y'all go with this. We will give Bobby first pick on the cool games. We're each going to pick 3. And just going to be kind of curious to see where everybody goes with this. Bobby, what is your first cool game of 2023 for the National Football League?
My first cool game, I have one that we mentioned in the first segment. Week 11, Monday Night Football, Eagles versus Chiefs, 2 of the top teams in the league. Super Bowl rematch, obviously. Mahomes versus Hurts. There's so much to be excited about with this matchup. A lot of trash talk was had between those two teams after the Super Bowl match. So there's going to be a lot of bad blood there. And obviously it's 2 of the best teams in the league, so it's going to be a great game.
All right, Tones, what is your first cool game?
I'm going with history for my cool game. I'm going with the first ever Black Friday NFL game we got on our hands. And if these quarterbacks are both healthy, it should be a doozy. You got Miami Dolphins at the New York Jets, and that game is 3 o'clock Eastern time on Black Friday for the first time ever. And what's interesting about this game more so, it better be a heck of a performance, because today a story broke where the Cincinnati Bengals actually contacted Amazon and said, hey, will you take us traditionally on Black Friday, kind of like the Cowboys are and kind of like the Lions are on Thanksgiving? Amazon looked at the Bengals and said, no, we won't. New York is a way bigger market. We're going to go with the Jets Dolphins. Thanks for your offer, but we're okay. So all eyes on this game, and if it'll be a good one on the first ever Black Friday, Week 12 NFL game that's November.
Cincinnati contacted Amazon to see if they could be the Black Friday game every year, essentially?
Yes, sir. Like a traditionalist, like a Thanksgiving Lions or Cowboys.
Who the hell do the Bengals think they are, man?
Right?
They don't have any kind of lore.
Right?
I mean, let's be honest. The Lions fell back asswards into it in the 1950s because they were willing to do the game and nobody else was, and that's how that came about.
Mm-hmm.
But now where we're at established, I think it's better that they don't have a traditional team, to be honest with you, because in that way you get a good matchup. I'm still against it. I don't like the idea of the Black Friday game. I say let college football breathe and give me some good college football matchups on Friday and Saturday. NFL's already got a triple header on Thursday. You know you're going to get it wall to wall on Sunday. But if you're going to have a Black Friday game, let's not do anyone traditionally. Let's just give it, because I don't want to have to suffer through. Like right now, you could say, oh, this would be a good one for Jacksonville to have. And what happens in 10 years when Trevor Lawrence is out of the league and they stink to high heaven and they're trying to force feed us Seahawks versus Jaguars, right?
Yeah, and the one good thing is, I agree, it is college days. At least they put it at 3 o'clock Eastern, so the morning game should flush out, and then they still get the night games to themselves. They just have that one time frame, and I agree.
But the 3 o'clock game normally is an SEC matchup. It's normally
I agree.
Arkansas LSU.
I agree. I'm not arguing that. And then, the one game, you really can't have a locked-in team with only one game on the schedule,
and here's
right?
the other thing. Have you thought about this? The nightmare that it adds to if you're playing fantasy football. Once again, another damn got to check to see if someone's playing in that game.
It's all money because you're going to get the drunk, hungover uncle on the couch and on Black Friday, they're going to be going through Amazon ads and the game's going to be on, and it's going to be an Amazon fest in some places, you know.
Yeah, I think I heard that Amazon's going to give that game away for free.
Good marketing technique.
That'll be the game that you don't have to have that you can. Of course, I still think you're going to have to sign up, so they're going to get you somehow, right? They're not just going to broadcast it on rabbit ears. They're going to get you somehow. There's no way in hell they don't. This is Amazon.
I'm going to leave the game with a $300
or they'll,
tab.
You'll get this game for free if you buy this flat screen TV for $99 that nobody wants because it's not a smart TV. Only way to connect it. You remember the old wires that you had to screw in with the different colors? You had to make sure the colors evened up.
The jack, you had the red, the yellow, and
exactly. You got to make sure that the red jack goes into the red jack, and everything has to be connected correctly, or your Nintendo 64 is not going to turn on. Yeah.
Or it screeches like a loud noise. Ugh.
If you buy that and you buy a Floby, we'll give you Jets Dolphins for free this week. All right, my first cool game, Monday night. No, is it Monday night? Is it Sunday? Sunday night football. Excuse me. October 1st, Kansas City Chiefs at the New York Jets. 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 Aaron Rodgers versus Mahomes in New York. I like it. I like it a lot. Man, by the way, did y'all see the brutal schedule the Jets have to start the season off? It is absolutely atrocious. They have 6 teams that are projected playoff teams in their first 6 games, and then they finally give them a bye week. And then they come out of it and they're playing somewhat of a easier schedule. I wouldn't say easy because nothing's easy in the NFL. But they fall out of that coming in and playing like the Giants and the Chargers and stuff. But before that, I mean, it is game after game after game of just it's a brutal. And I want to say 4 or 5 of the first 6 games are on prime time.
Yeah, the Jets better be good this year for more reasons than one. A, New York fans might go crazy, and B, they're all over the TV.
Well, they hedge their bets to put them on in a lot of standalone games early in the season. And then if you look later in the season, not so much. So basically they're saying, well, they might suck, but we're gonna ride the excitement of Aaron Rodgers at the beginning.
Bills, kind of like the Broncos last year.
Yeah, oh God. Please don't.
Where they gave them a ton of primetime games, just then ended up stinking.
I can't go through another 3 or 4 games of Russell Wilson getting 8 or 9 points each time out. They start off with the Bills on ESPN Monday Night Football. Then they're the America's game against the Cowboys in week 2. Patriots game is one of the ones that's not. It's just a 1 o'clock game. Then they play the Chiefs Sunday Night Football. Then they play the Broncos in America's game again, the late window. Eagles, again, America's game. And then they finally get the bye week. And then they come out of that and they play the Giants on a 1 o'clock. But then right after that, they're on Monday night again against the Chargers. I think this is Thursday night against the Browns. So when you look at later in the season, they're pretty much all 1 o'clock games. And it is 11:20. Oh, that's the Black Friday game on the 24th. But you better get ready because Aaron Rodgers coming into your old living room, baby. It is gangrene.
Aaron Rodgers is coming to town.
We're going to get sick of Aaron Rodgers the way everyone got sick of Tom Brady when he was in Tampa. Huh?
Hey, I was even sick of our primetime games with our primetime performances.
Oh, God, not this again.
For real. I mean, the way the Bucs play in primetime, I like the noon games, or the 1 Eastern games, I'm sorry.
You couldn't keep that Dallas game within freaking 3 touchdowns. I'm still pissed off about that. I missed a damn trifecta teaser with the Buccaneers because I thought there was no way in hell they would lose to the Cowboys by more than it was either 17.5 or 18. Whatever they ended up winning by, the Cowboys, I missed it by a couple of points. There's no way they don't win. No, this is a gimme. Give me that teaser. Let's roll. Let's ride. Got to that Monday game. I didn't even hedge my bet. I'm like, there's no way. This is Brady in the playoffs. He's not going to get blown out at home.
They fooled a lot of us last year. Well, not really. I mean, played throughout the year.
I was like, punt. Just punt the damn ball so they quit running up the score. Punt. I know it's 1st and 5. Punt. Help me out. Eat some clock.
It was bad, and that's what you get. And when you have a pretty bad season, and it's masked by a couple heroic Tom Brady fourth quarter comebacks, and you have a really bad offensive line with a really bad offensive coordinator,
and the NFL tricks you by putting it on Monday night, making you think it's a big game.
Right?
It's Brady versus the Cowboys. This game's gonna be epic.
And yeah, that's another thing. Just a plethora of problems, but. That was a sad end of the season, but it is what it is. On to new beginnings in Tampa. And I honestly think the offense does improve in a weird way this year.
I don't know why they're making this breaking news again, but Daniel Snyder announces a sale of the Commanders. I thought that happened like 3 weeks ago.
What is this, a once-a-month reminder or something?
This is somehow, some way, Adam Schefter trying to make himself relevant. Because that's who's breaking the news. He's on ESPN. He's all over going, breaking news. This isn't breaking news, you jerkwad. You broke this news 3 or 4 weeks ago. You just had the schedule release. You can't even let that breathe. You got to come in here with this nonsense.
That's typical Dan Snyder. He's all about
all right, what's cool game number 2? Tones, we'll go to you for number 2 since I just beat up your Bucks.
I got a unique one here. I got a Thursday night football matchup November 9th. They made a huge trade this offseason, which involved the number 1 overall pick for a plethora of picks in DJ Moore. I got the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young visiting Soldier Field in the Chicago Bears.
That's a cool game!
We were just trashing that game.
8:15 on a Thursday night. That one's going to be fun because they made such a big deal this offseason. That one's going to be fun
because I'm going to be asleep.
And I think the Bears have a legitimate chance at competing for the NFC North this year as well.
What week is that?
That is week 8, I believe.
How many total wins do the Panthers and the Bears have in week 8, Bobby?
4 at most.
If that's true, then there's no way in hell that's a cool game.
Hey, Panthers play Atlanta week 1, Saints week 2.
You gotta quit drinking when you make your picks, man.
I think that's a cool game. I mean, the premise of cool games is to each.
No, the premise of cool games is that they're cool. There's some buzz. People are going to care about it.
I think you had a Braves spring training game as a cool game before. So
yeah, when we're sitting there and there's nothing on, or it's going up against the XFL or something.
Again, this one has implications. If you're a football fan, this one intrigues you.
If you're watching this, there's implications. Bobby, what is your cool game?
My second cool game, I have a Week 14 divisional rival matchup between the Eagles and Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. I think these are two of the top teams in the NFC, and I think they're going to be battling out to win the NFC East. So this game is going to be huge. Whoever wins this game gets a big leg up in the race to win the NFC East, so I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I don't hate that one. I think the only reason why I'm not excited about that one is because it seems like Eagles, Cowboys, I feel like, I know they only play twice a year, but I feel like they're on Sunday Night Football 3 or 4 times a season. It seems like every year you're like, Eagles, Cowboys. Doubleheader this Sunday. Eagles, Cowboys, 4:30. Eagles, Cowboys, 8:15. Tony Romo will bring you the first one. Boomer Esiason in the second game. Let's go. All right, my next cool game is what weekend? What day is that? December 4th. It is a Monday Night Football game. We just talked about this a little bit before. Jaguars at home against the Cincinnati Bengals. And that is I think it's week 13. I can't read my writing without my glasses, and I'm not going to do that. Week 13, home against the Bengals. That should be a preview of a possible playoff matchup. And because the Jaguars will probably win their division, and the Bengals will probably win their division, that could decide a home field advantage in the playoffs. So I'm really looking forward to that one. I really hope the Jaguars don't stink this year. And you know, as I'm saying that, I look over in this screen over here. There's some stupid ass commercial with them yelling Duval. All right, go ahead. Never mind. Let me tear mine up. Okay, next one, Bobby. We'll give it to you before Tones gives us the Seattle Seahawks versus the Washington Huskies.
Hey, just like I said,
in a preview,
I said the Nuggets were harder out than Milwaukee. Remember that? And
the Hall of Fame game this July.
I got the first Monday Night Football matchup of the year, Bills versus Jets, and there's a chance that the Jets fall flat on their faces, but this is a huge test for that team and Aaron Rodgers. They're going up against the defending AFC East champions. So this is going to be a huge matchup. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see how Rodgers looks in the the New York uniform. I'm looking forward to it. This should be an exciting game.
Yeah, it better be, right? It's so funny. I saw
be a good game.
There was a New York talk show host last night that was calling that a must-win.
No week one game is a must-win.
Oh, I'm telling you, he went on a tirade. He went on a tirade.
New York sports
talking
media.
about how this is a must-win. He was like, telling you, this is a must-win. You can't go into the season 0-1 if you're Aaron Rodgers here in the Big Apple. In the Big Apple, you listening to me? What is wrong with people? It's week one. It's week one. God bless. All right, Tones, what you got for your cool game?
The game that never finished, Bills-Bengals, November 5th, that got picked up where it left off after DeMar Hamlin incident last season.
That should be a heart stopper, right?
Oh, a little bit. Come on.
Too soon.
But I think that game's going to be not only emotional, but I think it's going to be a heck of a battle between the two of the better quarterbacks, if not two of the best quarterbacks in the AFC. I
still cannot believe that he's going to try and play.
Mm-hmm.
I just really wish the kid would just hang it up, man. It's not worth it, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good player, but he's not going to the Hall of Fame or anything like that, so there's not that legacy on the line, right?
Mm-hmm. We've heard some NFL players say crazy things before. They're like they want to die on the field and stuff. You know, some guys literally just love the game.
Man, I don't even want to think about that being an option.
No, I remember someone saying that, though. They were asking a kid coming out of college, going into the NFL, hey, what do you think with all this rule changes and stuff? He goes, man, I wouldn't care if I died out there. It's like, holy crap, these kids, some of them love the game.
No.
Some of them love the game.
No, I don't want any part of that. That's what I'm saying. Like, man, the Bills or the National Football League can't give this kid a job doing something. I don't even know if raising awareness, because I don't know how many times this is ever going to happen to someone, but something where he can make a decent living and not put his life on the line. And that's
doctor. What if, I mean, you know, maybe he's deemed okay. You never know. Maybe it was truly a freak thing. You never know.
All right, my last one, Sunday Night Football. October 8th, the Dallas Cowboys go to the San Francisco 49ers. A rematch of the game from last year, the NFC Championship game. Or, I'm sorry, it was the semifinals. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping at that point the 49ers, because I'm a little skittish putting the 49ers in any of my cool games early in the season, because I don't know who's going to be playing quarterback. But by that time, I would hope Brock Purdy's behind center and see what the 49ers got.
Sam Darnold against Cooper Rush. Let's get it.
Get it. Let's get it, man. Battle of 2-7 teams.
Dun, 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 dun.
Bobby, what is your lock and what is your walk-off?
My lock, it's a matchup that you mentioned earlier that you think is going to be a blowout. I do too. I have Heat -6.5. They're heading back to Miami after dropping Game 5. I think they blow the doors off the Knicks tonight, wrap up this series. I'm very confident in this one. And then my walk-off is enjoy some of these big Game 6 and 7s coming up in the NBA playoffs. This will be fun, and let's hope for some good conference finals matchups. All
right, brother. We will see you next week. Enjoy your weekend. And hopefully we get I'm hoping that Celtics 76ers game is a Sunday night game.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Don't do that to us on a freaking Mother's Day. Put that thing on 3:30, then you got to make up a lie to get out of your mom's house. I mean, come on, don't put us in that position. Believe it or not every mom loves NBA. You know, I'm just putting that out there. It's a really hard sell. All right, brother. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. That's it.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Tones and I are going to talk about the cool games for the Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We will be back in a flash here on Braves Country.
Hey, check it out. A snow cone machine.
A snow cone machine?
You're saying it wrong. It's a snow cone machine.
Wendy's only makes one kind of breakfast, your new favorite one. How do we do it? With fresh cracked eggs, oven-baked bacon, and flaky croissants. You know, the things your old breakfast wasn't doing. So toss that old news and its soggy eggs somewhere useful. And get to Wendy's. A sausage, egg, and Swiss croissant, bacon, egg, and Swiss croissant, and honey butter chicken biscuit. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Limited time only. Single item at regular price. Price and participation may vary at U.S. Wendy's.
Hey, sports fans. The Key has a brand new show. Braves Country is coming your way weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern. Drive time on WQEE. Braves Country is a Southern sports talk show with Mac McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. We'll be talking the Atlanta Braves and Major League Baseball, along with everything important to sports fans in Braves Country. The SEC, ACC, Big Ten, and the National Football League. And the big sports news of the day. That's Braves Country with Mac McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. Weekdays, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. right here on WQEE, The Key, 99.1 FM. And simulcasting on YouTube.com/@Braves Country.
Choose a yogurt that's right for you. With 2 grams of sugar per 5.3-ounce serving, Too Good Greek yogurt is too good to be true. So Delicious dairy-free yogurt and Silk yogurt alternatives are delicious plant-based swaps you can enjoy by the spoon or add to recipes. Oikos 000 yogurt and Light and Fit yogurt are tasty, non-fat yogurt options. So many flavors, varieties, and possibilities. Elevate any recipe and your everyday with yogurt.
You're listening to WQEE in Noonan, Georgia, home of Braves Country. Weekdays, 3 to 5 p.m. Welcome back. Coming to you live Armchair Quarterback Studios. What's the weather like up there in Chicago today, Tones?
Rainy, on and off all day. Started early in the morning, and rain's supposed to continue through 9 p.m. on and off. And it's about 70 degrees right now, so a little humid with the rain on and off, but not awful.
God, does it ever not suck in Chicago, man?
Yeah, you know, that's a oxymoron.
I can't figure out why people decide to set up shop there and say, you know what, this is where I'm going to stay the rest of my life.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
What's the over under of you getting out of Chicago? How many years?
I put it at 5.5 years.
All right. Have you talked to the young lady in your life about getting out of there?
Oh yeah, she's on the Florida train already.
All right, there you go. That's all you got to do. Once you get her on board, everything will start moving.
Exactly. She's she's full throttle, so we're gonna be hopeful eventual Floridians down the road.
All right, we'll set you up down here.
Yeah, give me a spot near the Braves Country HD studios or Armchair Quarterback Studios. You know,
we'll just rent the room out back here. We'll make it really easy.
Heck yeah, you get a dog walker, you get a podcast contributor, you get a lot of stuff in one.
I don't even know what I'm watching. I've got some golf tournament on that I don't even know what the hell I'm watching. Scotty Scheffler's leading it, though.
I got us on in my background, It
looks like it's the AT&T Byron Nelson Classic, maybe. Is that live? I don't know what I'm watching. I got tired of seeing Adam Schefter break news that broke 3 weeks ago, so I switched it over.
He's good at that nowadays. Sadly, he's fallen off a little bit.
He always looks like, to me, he's just coming off a bender. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but just run a razor over you every once in a while. Like he doesn't ever have a beard. He always has like that 5 o'clock shadow no matter what time of day it is. It's like they just woke him up because his phone's been buzzing, telling him he's breaking news. He doesn't remember. Oh, yeah, never mind. That happened 2 weeks ago.
How about Dalvin Cook possibly getting released? What do you think about that? I think he'd be a great pickup for any team if he does get released.
Is there any validity to that rumor?
Diana Rossini said the Vikings are looking at making him a post-June 1st cap relief if they can't get a contract restructure done. So I think they want him to take a pay cut because I've seen the Vikings social media team today. They made like headers for their Twitter and Facebook, and Alexander Madison is on the headers and Dalvin Cook is not. So couple interesting things going on in Minnesota.
Well, I don't know if he's done, but I will say I don't think he's as explosive as he's been in the league for quite some time. You can't be elite forever. I wouldn't call Alexander Madison elite, but he's a hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah, and as you alluded to, eventually as a running back, and when you're one of the better running backs in the league who takes a solo work, usage for a while, you're going to run into the ground quicker than others do. So,
yeah, I'd say there's a pretty strong possibility that Well, I guess he gets cut, and I don't know where he lands. There's a lot of different places that he'd be attractive to. But what does he have left in the tank as far as he'll get a job? That's not the question. The question is, does he go to a contender?
Right. Look at how long it's taken Ezekiel Elliott to get signed. It's just, when these running, and I'd rather have Dalvin Cook at this point in time, don't get me wrong, but when you're an older running back, Leonard Fournette's out there as well, it's not too easy to find a home sometimes.
And Fournette's definitely one that's lost his punch.
Last year,
I still think
was
he
clear.
can be a value to a team in short yardage situations if he's willing to take on that role and not be like the every down back. He'd be an interesting ad for someone like the Carolina Panthers who want to, give some depth along with what they already have. And his running style kind of goes hand in hand with Foreman, right?
Mm-hmm. He could be a great third down back and goal line back for a team out there who's, thinking they might have a chance.
If Atlanta hadn't just signed or drafted Bijan Robinson, that would have been a great landing spot for him. But I think Cook assumes that he's still a starter somewhere, so where does he end up? I'll tell you what would be an intriguing one. Remember, the Chargers are having a problem getting Eckler on board, and he wants an extension. So if you're the Chargers, can you trade Austin Eckler and then bring in Dalvin Cook, who can essentially do all the same things? Now, he may not be doing at the same level at this point in his career, but he can essentially do all the same things that Eckler can do. He can catch out of the backfield. He obviously can run between the tackles.
Yeah, I would like that if LA ends up ultimately getting rid of Eckler. Another interesting spot I heard, they always seemingly are looking for a running back. Miami would be intriguing if Dalvin Cook did get let go. They love their big.
Well, he's from there.
Mm-hmm.
He's from like right in the heart of Miami.
I could see that being a match.
What about the Bengals? Because aren't they still in flux with the whole Joe Mixon thing?
Yeah, he's kind of sticking around, but he's been getting in some trouble and whatnot. So who knows what's to come of that? I think Bengals would be a possibility as well.
That'd be a really good addition for the Bengals.
I could even see the Cowboys, now that Zeke is gone.
Yeah, but if they sign him, man, you got to make sure Tony Pollard's okay with it because he's got to be like, are you kidding me with this? Are you freaking kidding me with this?
Right when he gets his chance, all of a sudden, hey, not so fast, bud. You're still splitting time here.
Yeah, I just I think the biggest question would be what's his priority? Is it winning or is it getting playing time thinking that he's going to get another big contract?
Mm-hmm.
Which at this stage in his career, I don't think the latter is a possibility. I think he's in the stage where if he gets released, he's going to sign a smaller deal or he's going to sign a 1-year deal at a decent rate and then just go year to year. Mm-hmm. All right, let's get into your cool games. What are your top 3 games for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year?
Well, there's a couple of good options because we play a lot of good young quarterbacks. Nothing polarizing, but some good young quarterbacks. My first cool game is against one of those young cool quarterbacks. It's September 25th, Monday Night Football. Eagles at Bucks. That's a game that's 7:15 kickoff time. So I think there might be 2 Monday night games on that week because it's a 7:15 Eastern kickoff, which is early for a Monday Night Football game. But that's Eagles at Bucks, Monday Night Football, September 25th. That should be a fun one with Jalen Hurts coming to town. Eagles are probably going to be heavy favorites in that one, but Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask, whoever's starting that game, is going to be playing with a lot of heart in their first primetime start in Tampa.
All right, my first one for the Falcons is game number 1, because I think everyone's going to be excited to see what this team has. The Falcons are at home against the Carolina Panthers, and that's a game that I think most Falcon fans would agree you want to see a win in week 1, right? I don't want to see them slop it around, lose to the Panthers with a rookie quarterback most likely under center. I want to see what Ritter can do. I want to see what Bijan Robinson's about, and I want to see what they can do with this offense going forward, getting the Mariota error out of the way. What's your second game?
October 26th. This one is 8:15 Eastern, Thursday night football, so our second primetime game of the year. Tampa Bay heads on a very tough journey into Buffalo. The Bucs try and stop a high-end offense with Josh Allen and company. Not an easy place to play all the way up in Buffalo. Tampa doesn't play there too often, and it's on Thursday night. You never know what happens on Thursday night football coming off a short week's of rest. I'm interested to see how it unfolds here.
All right, my next game is Minnesota. They're playing the Minnesota Vikings, and they are at home. And that is, if I have the date right in front of me, November 5th. Minnesota Vikings, that could be a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because Minnesota has just, I haven't seen where they have done much to help their defense. So it could be points galore. I'm looking forward to that one. November 5th, it's a 1 o'clock kickoff in Atlanta.
November 5th, home against Minnesota, that is?
Yes.
Cool, I'm putting that in the chat now. Awesome. We're rolling with some good ones here. Honestly, the NFC South, we play some good games this year. We play some fun opponents.
And what's your third big game for the Buccaneers for 23?
This one is going to be a lot of fun, in my opinion. Christmas Eve, you look forward to that in-state battle. You got Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars coming to town. And this one, there will be families sitting around Florida households celebrating Christmas, watching as it takes place middle of the day, 4:05 Eastern time. Going to be a fun one as it's an in-state battle, a Sunshine State battle, Jaguars-Bucks.
What day is that?
Christmas Eve, December 24th.
Oh, okay, Christmas Eve. Okay, I thought you said Christmas Day. I was like, man, I saw the triple header. I didn't see that one on there. All right, and my last one, Week 18 in New Orleans. Falcons at the Saints. Very well could be for the NFC South. You got me?
Yes, I like that one. Falcons Saints Week 18 could be for the South. Derek Carr against Desmond Ritter, or possibly another quarterback. That could be a good one. You know, I'm really intrigued by that one to see how it shakes out. Could be for the division at day's end. It really could. Hopefully not, for the Bucs' sake.
Well, I think you have to be realistic if you're a Bucs fan. I think this is a rebuilding year, best case scenario. It could be a tank for Caleb year.
I agree. I think our division.
And I don't think Carolina's in the mix. Do you? I mean, honestly, not this year.
The thing is with the NFC South, I really see no team winning more than 9 games potentially. So I think Bucs and Panthers are on the projected low end of the spectrum, but I could see this division really slicing any way. I don't think there's any powerhouse necessarily.
In theory, you would say, well, you know, the Saints, they got their win 9. I don't believe in Derek Carr.
I think the Falcons honestly have the best all-around roster, in my opinion. The quarterback position,
that's the biggest question, right? What is Ritter going to do?
Exactly. You know, the Saints only have Carr, the Bucs only have Mayfield, and the Panthers only have, you know, the first pick and a veteran over Andy Dalton over there, so that's no home run. The Falcons with Case Keenum and Desmond Ritter, that could be a viable game plan moving forward, and that could get him into the NFC South division winning title picture.
Man, if you think about that.
The quarterback rooms in the NFC South.
Yeah, the fact that Desmond Ridder could be head and shoulders above the rest of anyone in the division. Baker Mayfield, Derek Carr, and then a rookie.
And I'm sorry,
a rookie who's not even 6 feet tall.
I said Case Keenum. I meant Taylor Heineke. I knew they signed. It's Taylor Heineke for the Falcons, not Case Keenum.
I didn't hear that, but yeah, it's Heineke.
Yeah, I know Keenum ended up going to Houston, but either way, same thing, right? Heineke, Keenum, not a big difference. Ritter's job to lose regardless.
Yeah,
and Desmond Ridder, Taylor Heineke, that's not an awful quarterback room because Heineke, he has a career playoff start. So just say something happens with Ridder, he looks a little slower, sluggish. At least you got a guy like Taylor Heineke who's been to the playoffs before. That roster's good enough where in the NFC South, you could prop him up to 8 or 9 wins, and the Falcons or whoever gets to 8 or 9 wins could be looking at a division title, much like Tampa did last year.
Right now, the Saints are the favorite. It's Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Saints are a plus 125, so no one's an actual true favorite, right? No one. There's no team that Vegas believes should be favored in the way that normally it takes minus money, right? Mm-hmm. So they're plus 125. Atlanta's plus 265. Carolina plus 300 and Tampa Bay plus 650.
So that's pretty cool.
I wouldn't mind taking Atlanta. I was just hoping I was going to get better odds.
Yeah, honestly, if I were to break it down, I think Atlanta and Tampa's odds would be the most intriguing to me. Like, I think Falcons have a legit chance at winning the division for the odds you get. And then the Bucks, I don't think they have the greatest of chances, but for plus 6 whatever in that crappy division, you have a puncher's chance. If Mayfield resorts to his old days and he doesn't turn the ball over, etc., you have a puncher's chance.
The Jets are plus 225 right now to win their division. Miami plus 300, New England plus 750, but Bills are 135, plus 135. The Jaguars are minus 160, so they're a heavy favorite to win their division. Tennessee plus 375, and the Colts are 550. Texans are 725.
Really? Makes sense, but to me, and that's the biggest spread week 1. Houston's getting the most points week 1. Tampa's
I think the most intriguing one to me would be to take the Colts plus 550.
I agree. What did you say Tennessee was again?
Plus 375.
Yeah, I think Colts is probably best bang for your buck.
I understand why Tennessee's a slight favorite over the Colts, but if AR-15 ends up being the real deal, then the Colts kind of have the rest of their team in place.
If AR-15 pans out, could you imagine him and Jonathan Taylor in that backfield if Taylor could stay healthy? That could be pretty lethal.
If you believe in Jimmy G, the Raiders are plus 1,200 to win their division.
Hey, it's not so much Jimmy G for me.
The Minnesota Vikings are plus 350 to win their division. The Lions are plus 125.
Holy crap. A little love on the Lions much? Do you think that's appropriate, or do you think that's a little bit too much?
I'm a little surprised that Minnesota they're plus 350 and Detroit's only plus 125.
Yeah, I don't think that makes too much sense. I know a lot of people are down on Minnesota this year, but I don't get why. That just doesn't make too much sense to me.
Cowboys plus 175. That's not enough for me.
Yeah, that division's too good. Even though there's Sam Howell at quarterback for Washington, I could still see any of those teams winning that division.
Arizona Cardinals are plus 2,000 to win their division. How about that? Wow.
Holy. Is Bobby listening?
I think that's the highest. Till 1,200. Yep, that is the highest. 2,000 plus 2. I mean, I would never bet on the Cardinals to win the division, but it's interesting. The only one even close to that. Well, I'll put it this way: the Raiders are plus 1,200. They're the second highest. After that, it's plus 950 with the Commanders.
I don't know who would be your best underdog bet for a division winner if you are looking at him.
If I'm going to take the bottom of the barrel in a division to pull it off, I've got to go to a division that I don't believe has a strong front runner. So Tampa is intriguing at plus 650. I just don't think they're going to be that good this year. What about the South? You know what? What about the North? Because the Packers are the worst odds at plus 400. What if Jordan Love is worth a damn?
Right? Because they still have Jones and Dillon in that backfield, and now they keep drafted receivers and tight ends, so they're actually giving Jordan Love guys to throw to. I mean, Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson had pretty good rookie years last year, and then they added in a bunch of tight ends and a bunch of wide receivers in this year's draft, and their defense is pretty stout as well. So I like Packers and Bucks. I think your head's in the right place with those two.
Jimmy G and plus 1,200 would be, I think, the longest odds that I would actually roll the dice with. It'd be Jimmy G and the Raiders.
The only hope for me with that is I think you would need something catastrophic to happen in Kansas City, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly.
You
either they just get fat and just say, "Man, we're the champs," and they're just not playing well. And the Raiders tend to have their number in that rivalry. And I have no faith in the Broncos and Chargers for an entire season. So to me, for the Raiders to be plus 1,200 and the Broncos to be 450 and the Chargers 325, that's very skewed.
I don't get why. Yeah, if anything, yeah, man, that's very skewed.
So as far as bang for my buck, I think the best one's the Raiders. Because I'm not taking the Cardinals at plus 2,000 because they're just going to be terrible. And the Seahawks and the 49ers are going to win enough games where the Cardinals aren't going to have a chance to win that division.
Yeah.
What is your lock and your walk-off because we're running out of time?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Intriguing stuff. We'll have to get more into that. My lock here is in the world of NBA. I got the Golden State Warriors getting 3.5. I don't think the Lakers close the door on the Warriors tonight. I think they have more fight left in them. So I'm going with Warriors 3.5. And my lock of the day is this. Guys, if you're a fan of MLB, keep your eyes on the MLB pipeline, the prospects, the minors. It seems like this year more than ever we're getting all these kids called up. Tonight we got that young kid on the Marlins pitching in his MLB debut, top 10 prospect in all of baseball. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and these kids are really fun to watch when they do get the call. Keep your eyes peeled. There's a ton of good talent around the world of baseball right now. So that's Yuri Perez of the Marlins, top 10 prospect.
My lock is the Washington Nationals on the money line at home, Mackenzie Gore versus Tyler McGill, plus 108, a good value. My walk-off tonight, Braves, Blue Jays, 7:07 first pitch, Braves Country HD, right here on our YouTube channel, pitch-by-pitch, play-by-play. Got to step away and get ready for it. Tone's great job. We will see you Monday. And we'll see if I think the Lakers will have knocked out the Warriors, but we shall see. That's why they call it sports, because they don't play it on paper. They play it inside your television sets. We'll see you Monday.
See you Monday.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to Braves Country with Mac McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks on 99.1 FM WQEE, The Key in Noonan, Georgia, and simulcasting on youtube.com/@Braves Country. Braves Country comes your way weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern. Please follow, like, and subscribe today. Armchair Quarterback Radio, your first choice for Southern sports.
Of September, something of the 5th of September. She said a lot that I can't remember. Something of the 5th. Can I get another cigarette, please? Can I get another cigarette, please? Yeah, I know I live to regret it. Just give me another cigarette, please. Can I get another cigarette, please?
You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key in Noonan, Georgia.